Get that thing going.
Oh, all right. Simple.
Hi, Blimp.
Hi.
Come out of there. There she is. Covina, California. This is Jake Timpe.
Hi guys.
I already gave him a handshake, but it's okay. Was one of the first people that paid me to work on his vehicle. It was called the Rome Ranger because without making an emo, it was in my garage. It was the first thing that I got paid to work on. My mom died around that time. I gave up on life for a considerable amount of months. And Blimp was patient, but boiling inside because just to do the front, modify the beams, mount the engine, mount the trans, build the shock hoops, tie it into the cage. It took like a year and a half. I think a year and a half to 2 years.
Yeah.
Something stupid. I have a soft spot for rain gutter Rangers. They're called rain gutters because of this factory feature, which is a rain gutter. When did you get it?
Probably 8 or 9 years ago, 2010,
Yeah.
2011, and it was stock with just beams on it and the fiberglass. I drove it to Palm Springs and back. It was a stock 4.0 automatic,
Yeah.
air conditioning, everything.
Yep.
And then I put some leaf springs on it and some shocks, and then I did a roll cage, and then it just snowballed into everything. You have a lot to do with the front. I finished most of it. Christian has a lot to do with the front. There's a lot of people that have a lot of.
Yeah, and it's got
They've
branch
helped me out a
headers.
lot with it. And,
Branch headers are kind of a obsolete thing now, but they're always nice to look at. It's got all the right combo of stuff, you know. I mean, it's pretty, and it's like the Robbie Gordon wheels. You just don't see that too often anymore. And for old people like me and some others, they're one of the most beautiful wheels there are, next to like a Walker Evans.
I had the Walkers, and then I went to KMC's, then I went to these, and I just can't make up my mind, but these I'm keeping. That shot you just got, I'm changing that hub out ASAP, so don't get that too old.
Oh, that's the same thing I got on mine.
Yep, they last, but I got the race hubs and the snouts and everything in the garage.
Yeah, and then Christian did this dash?
Yeah, Christian did 90% of it. He had most of the design work. I helped him out with some stuff, but we did it in his shop, and he's the man at blending and aluminum stuff and pretty much everything he's really meticulous with. The inside has a lot of work to do. I still need to do door panels and all the little touch-up stuff, obviously, but it was kind of just the bare bones to get it running, and then my style is just, okay, I got it running, and you know, it's good, I just want to drive it.
Yeah, you're a desert rat.
Yeah,
that's
I'm a driver, dude. I don't, like, I'm a fabricator too, but I did it to finish this thing. And
yeah, I mean, you and Devin and just all the people out like in the high desert, these guys are the people that log dirt miles, and these trucks get used.
I try to go out every other weekend.
Yeah, every other weekend on the season, you know.
2 weeks ago.
Yep. No, you'll see like some of the finish work is just whatever, but it's because it's more of a thing of just getting out to the desert and using it.
Yeah.
And it's a Super Bowl, you know, Super Bowl. What? It's a real capable truck.
It's got a lot of work to be done. I got him out like tool bags, and I want to make a little removable rack right here for like the hobby trail and stuff like that. And getting new bedsides ASAP. These things are junk. I'm gonna get that dent taken out and get it painted all nice soon. Get the front fiberglass all repaired.
So when we mounted the engine in this thing, the goal was to make it
I don't know how crazy
super
we
far
went,
back.
I don't know if we ever got an exact measurement.
18 inches. Should we take the hood off and look at it?
Yeah.
You guys can kind of see how far back the engine is. The thing is, it's behind the center line of the front, which adds for better handling dynamics.
There are a lot of trucks that have, you know, factory mounted motor that handle amazing, way better than this thing, but I have no shock tuning yet.
Do you want to talk about the history with this engine?
I bought it off Chris Eisenhower when he was going to the LS. I think Nick got LS in his old Ranger, and then they wanted parts to be compatible and stuff, so he was ditching the old Windsor motor. Yeah, they gave me a killer deal on it, and I haven't touched a thing, and it runs amazing.
It's awesome.
So I bought the Holley Sniper kit. I'm gonna go fuel injection in the next couple weeks. So I got the nice pump and filters in the kit and everything. I'm gonna do a pre-dyno test with this thing. I've never had it dynoed. I'm thinking it's somewhere around like 280 to 300 of the wheels right now. And I wanna dyno it right now, and then I'm gonna do the fuel injection and see if it makes any difference or whatever. And then I got exotic front hubs and Blitzkrieg mounts and hubs and stuff.
Right now, this is just F-150 style?
Yep, stock two-wheel drive F-150.
Yeah, ball joint.
It's had the shit beat out of it, and it's lasted fine, but, you know, it's always in your mind.
Yeah, and then this is a tuba swing steer?
Yep, Mike Tuba built some swing steer a long time ago. That was one of the first modifications I ever did to the truck. I bent the shit out of the stock steering, and it needed something bad. I could never trust driving a truck again with stock steering. So I had Tuba do this thing. The front end's a little funky. It's got some old school, like really short beams on it, so it's got a lot of camber change, but it seems to handle pretty good when you're in the truck. But if you watch some videos, it looks a little funky, but it's awesome. This is an ideal platform that, you know, like anybody would appreciate and have fun in as a V8 Ranger, with a link rear suspension and big travel beams in the front and a coilover and a bypass and a bump on each corner. And I mean, it's kind of a combo that you can't go wrong with. And it's just a recipe for fun and reliability if it's built right to go in the desert. So your plans are to do hubs in the front, right? Yep.
Hubs.
Spindles.
Yeah.
We got the nice uniball spindles and Blitzkrieg 2.5 hubs to match the rear. And I got 14-inch rotors and 6-piston calipers to put on there. And I'm gonna be doing that in the next couple weeks too. I don't really want to take it out again until I do all those mods.
And you built all the back, right?
Yep. Of course I had some help with a lot of different people, but all the fab stuff was me.
Yeah. All steel it coated?
Yep, it's all steel it. We built me and Christian built the fuel tank, 60 gallons. It's all 3/16, 50/52.
And then what housing?
Van and Aaron, shout out to them. They're awesome dudes at LSK. They had this housing on the computer. It was a 4-inch housing for a trophy truck or something. And me and a couple of guys after work dissected it and made it fit perfectly to my application and stuff. And laser cut and bent some plate up and found some rusted old tubing that they had back there. And I built the whole thing. It was awesome.
And are these SI links?
Yep. Yep, I bought the SI kit, just the uppers and lowers from Tom and the brackets, the front mounts. So
when I say SI, it's Suspension Innovations, and it's Tom McKenzie, I think, and then there's Nestor Berardi, and those boys were Plank Motorsports. They were kids when Larry Plank was kind of in the prime of his fabrication and motorsports career, and he had a very distinct style and a very sanitary, clean-looking fabrication. I was gonna cut the frame way back and do a super widespread upper links and long lower links and, you know, shocks in the cab almost and stuff, but on a Ranger, these things are so proven with this rear setup, and I came across a deal straight from Tom, my buddy Kevin had, so I just had to buy them. And it gave me a huge head start on the back half. I finished this whole back half in 5 months. And that was while you were working a full-time job? Oh yeah, every night. You know, I was transitioning from LSK to JPL, so I was working a shitload, and then every night at Ryan Cook's shop, I rented a spot from him for a while and finished the back half. Front travel? Front travel is as much as you want. No, I'm just kidding. I think it's strapped at about 18 to 20. Yeah. I think me and you were able to pull like something stupid like 24 out. Yeah, it was like 24, but it's not very usable. It gets pretty funky down there, but. And then your rear? The rear, I think, is about 26. Okay. And I think I probably have it strapped about 24, 25. And 2.5-inch coilover? Yeah, 3.0 coilover, 3.5. Oh, there we go. 2.5 bump. And it's that's a big coil. Dude, this thing's got like 16 inches of up travel from ride height. It's pretty crazy. Sway bar? No sway bar. No sway bar. Blimp likes to live wild. Everybody swears. No, dude, this thing handles really good. Everybody swears by no sway bar with this link kit, I guess. I think that's the SI link. Yeah, yeah. He definitely has it all figured out in his geometry, but I did, in the back half, I did stub out a little thing right here that I saw that with the caps. Put one, yeah. You know, it might be a little funky to clear the bump stop, but you can make it happen if I needed to. Just put a kick in it. But honestly, this thing corners amazing. It has a little bit of body roll, don't get me wrong, but it handles really good. It's comfortable. Now, James? No, I mean, you rode in this. Yeah, I did. That's what I was going to say. Yeah, but he was filming the whole time, so he couldn't pay attention. Yeah, you know, I was looking at the camera, but for the way it handles on the mountain roads, with the speeds that we were going, like, I could have sworn this had a sway bar. For sure. Really? Because it feels so planted on the ground. Yeah. I personally didn't feel any sway. You know what I mean? And those roads are slippery, man. Yeah, no, it's pretty planted. It's real tight, so I don't know if I would have felt as comfortable if I knew it didn't have a sway bar, but dude, this is amazing. I weighed it, without me in it, it weighs about 4,900 pounds. What's the capacity on the fuel? 60 gallons. 60 gallons? Yeah. It's a good size, man. Yeah. Really good tank right here. Jake went with a method of just building a fuel tank. A lot of like race vehicles require a bladder. This is 3/16 aluminum, and it's got baffles in it, so nothing sloshes heavy around, and you can get away with that. It's the same thing I'd want to build, especially if you're just building a pre-runner, and you don't need to have a, you know, like a race requirement with that. Right. you can get away with just building a cell to the design of the chassis that you want. And that thing's 3/16, so it's a little thicker than a regular fuel cell would be because it doesn't have that bladder. And that's why the baffles are in there. So then when it's not sloshing, it's not gonna crack a seam or, you know, damage the can.
Yeah.
I've never seen a
bolt-on bump stop.
Yeah, a bolt-on bump stop like that.
For myself,
yeah,
it's
welding
easier
all
to
those
mount.
cans and stuff, it always ovals out, and you gotta hone it or something.
100%. Even if you
Or
put a
have
big slug
bump
in there.
or something. You know?
Yeah, exactly.
I
So-
just never had good luck with the can style.
So the difference is the older ones are a can.
Yeah.
You
Yeah,
weld that.
yeah, it's
and
actually a
then
cylinder that goes around it.
Yeah.
And it has like a cap on the top.
Yep.
and then it kind of warps and kind of becomes a pain in the ass.
Yeah,
if
once
gotta
you weld
take it
metal,
out.
it wants to move around a little bit anyways.
Now, if you want to get a little more technical too, if you're using a bump can instead of a bolt-on bump, you're using actual canister that you fab to the truck. The bottom 1.25 inches or something, if you put your fingers in there,
Oh, you nasty.
and you feel it's machined, once it goes 1.25 inches, it's machined to less of a tolerance, so there's more slop. So you're never supposed to weld the bottom 1.25 inches because that's the tight part that holds the can, and the upper part is kind of built for a little bit of warpage and distortion. But a lot of people just go up and they just weld that whole bottom, they fabricate to the bottom of it, and then it really makes it impossible to get out.
on the front.
Pain in the ass.
Huge. And you're whacking at
Yeah.
that thing for a long time.
And you don't want to whack anything out that long.
to get it to pop out, essentially.
My front bump stops, we got pretty beat up getting them in and out.
Yeah,
And Morgan did those ones.
I did them.
But the bottom's not welded.
I mean, honestly, I put that slot there because I thought it would be a relief for some of the welding.
Yeah.
Because if you look, there's a lot of fabrication going to that.
I think it actually just made it oblong a little bit more.
Yeah. So live and learn, you know?
Great job.
I remember we did this whole plate, this overlay plate.
Yep. It's
Was
all
done-
chromoly. Everything's chromoly.
All chromoly, and it was done where all the factory holes are. I did a template that made cutouts to tie into the original frame where there would be no holes showing. So like all the way through it, there's just no factory holes showing. It's kind of hard to see. And then these are branch headers. Branch is known for doing a lot of banger jobs on trucks and boats. All stainless, 1.75 inches, looks like.
Yeah, I think it's 1.75 to 1.7/8.
Yeah, a little step on the bottom there. 3-inch bypass in the front, 2.5-inch coilover.
Yep. 14, 16, two and a half
all
pumps all
this,
the way
man.
around. Yeah, that's all Morgan right there.
Whole design was to try to be built where there didn't need to be a cross member. It works. I mean, it holds up. I don't think it flexes or
No,
moves
it's-
or anything.
It's buff. Yeah, this is obviously removable. This X is removable, and the
Yeah.
radiator support and stuff to get the motor out easier.
And then that's just a big CBR radiator.
Yep.
But what kind of temperatures do you usually run at?
Ideally, it's about 170, 180, but
Okay.
right now with this carburetor, it doesn't like Glamis too much. So
Yeah.
every time I put it in the sand, it gets a little warm. At James's coolest event he's ever put on in his life, this thing was bogging pretty bad off the big jump. Well, I didn't I didn't do the big jump because it was bogging pretty
Yeah.
bad off one of
Which
the jumps
event
on
is
the
this?
track. At that the
takeover.
Yeah, the Terra Crew takeover in Victorville.
Yeah, in
That track.
Victorville.
That was so much fun.
That was a good one.
That was so much
Actually, we should cut to that footage right now.
This is a carbureted 351. LS's sound really good, but you know, there's nothing like a small block Chevy or a small block Ford. They have their own unique sound, and they're just that kind of hot roddy feeling.
This thing's kind of mild. It's got just a big 750 carb and a mild cam and some dark cast heads on it. They kept it pretty reliable, and it runs decent, you know. And I got a fully built C6 tranny. Dana Sniff did the whole thing.
Yeah.
So
Nice.
pretty confident on that.
And that's a manual valve body.
Yep.
And when I say manual valve body, that's just, it's an automatic trans, but it's converted, the valve body is converted, so you have to shift it manually. And you'll see that in most trucks. So reverse means the reverse pattern, where instead of it being 1, 2, 3, it starts here. So it's just a reverse pattern. I always like analog gauges like this instead of like a race pack or a Holley. It just has that old school hot rod feel.
Yeah,
So-
it's got all the J-Mart brakes and all the custom
Yep.
steering stuff that I did on that side. That's kind of a
Yeah, I love that.
it's full of brake fluid right now, and it's all the paint's peeling off. But I'm pretty proud of that little section.
Yep, the little adjustable.
It's got some sort of a tilt wheel if you actually
Mm-hmm.
wanted to.
I think we have footage of this thing when it was leased from too, man.
Yeah.
In Barstow. Put a little action segment.
right, you want to go rip this thing?
Let's do it.
Let's get that thing going.
Oh, all right. Simple.
The most important thing I learned today is that this is why they call it the rain gunner. I had no idea, man. No idea. I was this day old.
The noise inside here is not nearly as bad as I thought.
Really?
Yeah, it's really quiet.
The bypass.
You hear the bypass noises, but again, that's a standard thing. And the leg space is crazy. Blimp, thank you for showing us your truck.
Of course.
I haven't seen it for a while, and I've never ridden in it.
Yeah.
The ride's pretty much like a really soft suspension truck
Yeah.
on the street. Obviously has bypass noises that you know, check valves are in every truck with bypass noises, so there's nothing, you know, that's nothing new. It's a beautiful truck, and it's got good power, and it's your classic, you know, linked V8 Ranger. And I'd say you accomplished that pretty well.
Thanks.
You know?
Yeah.
Thanks, dude.
It means a lot.
Later.
Yeah.